Hey everybody, it's Dave from Clean Pro Supply. Today we're going to talk about the TH40, the tile spinner from Turboforce. This is the 12-inch. We're going to discuss the difference between the brush rings and the Teflon rings and when to use each one. Also how to remove and disassemble the head so that you can change the rings out, but then also clean the head. It will get gunked up with hair and other junk, so of course that has to be cleaned out from time to time. This is a unit that's actually on our cleaning van, so it's going to be probably pretty dirty on the inside. Not sure what it looks like. We'll see when we take it apart. We're going to discuss a little bit of maintenance inside the head itself and then putting it all back together so you can use it on the job. So first off, the difference between the two rings. When you purchase this new, you'll get one of each. Usually the Teflon ring is installed and then the brush ring comes separate. If you're cleaning tile and grout, ceramic tile and grout, you're generally going to use the Teflon ring. The reason for that is it's going to make a tighter seal on the surface of the tile, and it's going to use the grout lines as a vac relief, I guess you can say, where the airflow is going to flow through. And of course, with the airflow is how the water gets reclaimed. You can have all the suction in the world, but if it's locked down on a hard surface like this table and there's no airflow, even though it's stuck, that water, even if you're spraying water into the head, that will never get sucked up through the vac hose because it has to have actual airflow. Those grout lines will act as those airflow vac relief spots as you move it across the ceramic tile and grout. That'll also make sure you have the best water recovery so you have the best seal, but water is actually flowing. If you're cleaning stone, you want to use the bristle brush because it's going to be a little bit softer. If a little rock or something gets stuck in the Teflon and you're dragging that across a stone tile floor, it's going to scratch it really bad. So this brush ring is great for the stone tile, but also if you're cleaning concrete, and the reason for that is in the bristles, you're going to have airflow through between the bristles, so that way you have that water that's going to reclaim through the bristles. So concrete, any other hard surface, or definitely stone if it's a soft surface. Teflon ring if you're cleaning ceramic tile and grout. Now you do have the option to just always use the brush ring. Generally that's what we do, but sometimes if you're running longer hose runs, or if you're cleaning ceramic tile and grout that have really low recessed grout lines, for example, then you may want to get a little bit better suction and use the Teflon ring. So moving forward to disassembling the head, the first thing we're going to do is, if you zoom in here, is disconnect this quick disconnect here. And just pull that out of the way. Then you have 3 screws right here. They're Phillips heads, so just a standard Phillips head screwdriver. One, 2, and 3. Put those somewhere. Actually, I'll stick them over here so I don't knock them off the table. And then from there, it's actually pretty simple. There's these 2 little flaps. You're going to separate those flaps. Come right over here with the camera. When you separate these flaps, you'll see a little nub here. Pull those out and then push down. Once that's pushed down, you can lift this up. And you'll see the inside. So here we have the outer shell and then the inner shell. As you can see, this brush ring is still attached to the outer shell. That just pops off like that. Now what will happen is if you wear this down too much, whether it's the brush ring or the Teflon ring, it'll actually wear into the inner ring, because the inner shell. The inner shell is what holds this on. So if you wear through it, you'll actually start wearing these little nubs down. And then you'll need a new inner shell, which I want to have to replace. So what we'll do to clean this, of course, is wipe all. I'm not going to do this for the sake of the video, but we would normally wipe all this down. Anything that's gunked up in here, we'd pull that out. This actually is not very dirty. I mean, it is dirty, but it's it could be way worse. So to change it out, to put the Teflon ring on, if you're just taking the brush ring off, you can take this set aside, and then you can put the Teflon ring on. It's tapered, so you want the tighter portion, I guess you can call it, inside like this. And then you'll stick the inner shell, line up the vac relief with this hole here. And that'll sit like that. And then once this is on, you can push it up through the bottom. So these clips snap back into place here. and you'll see they pop right in. So now it's fully seated, and then at that point the screws just hold it there. So it is fully seated now, everything is lined up and straight, but obviously you don't want it falling apart while you're on the job. And generally when tightening screws, I like to follow what I call the lug nut pattern. Anytime you're tightening something around in a circle, don't tighten them all the way, just get them on loose. Now this has 3 screws, so it's not the end of the world which direction you go. But if there was 4, 5, or 6 screws, you would generally do 1, then across, then across, then across, kind of like in a star pattern. But I would get these on loose, just to get a dry fit, and then start snugging them down. And the reason why I do that crisscross pattern, if you have 4 or more, is just to make sure it's evenly tightened and it's coming up straight, not all lopsided. Go back and double check them all. Then we'll reconnect our quick disconnect, our pressure line. Make sure it's on snug by pulling on it. Now this you can see is actually a little bit loose, so if I have a wrench, I'd actually want to tighten this nut here just so the spinner or the swivel doesn't spin. But there we go. Now we have a new Teflon ring on there. Normally, of course, we would clean it all out in the process. And then you would see, that's nice and clean where the vac reliefs or the vac ports are there. The bar spins freely, no issues there. Flipping it over. I always just like to double check our vac relief hole there and make sure that our sleeve is centered over that hole. Outside of that, we're in good shape. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out anytime. Again, Dave from Clean Pro Supply. Have a good day.